Right, so we're about to get started then with the medium novice final. And the first dog under starters orders will be a 4-year-old Pumi called Finny. And the handler is Bianca Janssen from the Netherlands. So it's Finny's first time here in the UK, and it's certainly a breed we don't see many of in this country. So it's nice to see a different dog. So a nice start there, confidently up the first 4 and turning back to the seesaw.
No, Bianca Janssen.
Turning around that left wing. Making their way safely into the weaving poles. So Finny taking a little look at the Kennel Club sign on its way into the tunnel, but nicely over that dog walk. Bianca certainly running down, so we're 2 from home now. Oh, but sadly just running past the first jump to pick up a refusal. But still a good time of 40.431 for Bianca and Finny. Right, next to run is Keith Taylor with a 2-year-old working Cocker Spaniel called Spice. My goodness, this little chap can shift, can't he?
Andrew's just giving you the right list, okay?
Pulling back in there to the A-frame. Beautiful send out there to the weaving poles. Into the tunnel. Oh, just having a little disagreement on the entry in there and picking up a refusal on that tunnel entry. And another 5 for leaping off the down contact of the dog walk. And a refusal there at the tunnel, just pulling off. So what Keith says about Spice is she is an amazing little dog, and I think we have absolutely seen that. So that is a time of 41.821 for Keith Taylor and Spice. Right, next under starters orders we have Rachel Hall running Kiba. This is a 2-year-old English Springer Spaniel. And it is their first time in a final. But Kiba is Rachel's 3rd agility dog, and they started competing 9 months ago. So they've done really well to qualify for a final that early in their career. Up and over, picking up the weave entry there, but just not quite picking it up accurately, so getting a refusal there on the entry.
Rachel Clark, yeah. Rachel Hall, yes, is running now. Rachel Hall, yes. She's running
Nicely into the tunnel. Look at this, the dog's tail wagging as it goes up over that the dog walk. Such happy little dog springers. And here we come. So Rachel making away, just pulling the dog around. Just 2 to go now. Right. And that is a time of 48.434 for Rachel Hall and Kiba.
Partridge, yeah.
Right, so next under starters orders we have Pat Partridge with Buzz, who is a 3-year-old working Cocker Spaniel. And Pat hasn't actually put anything in under the interesting information, so I shall make it up in terms of what I know. So I believe that Buzz was actually originally Graham's dog, but Pat has taken over running him now. Pat, of course, being a very experienced handler with running many dogs and, of course, breeding the beautiful Gunner and Border Collies. So nicely, safely through the tunnel there and up onto the dog walk. Some of these smaller dogs obviously a little bit more susceptible to wind, gusts of wind as they're coming over the dog walk, but Buzz managed to hold his own there. So just 3 obstacles left to go here. Come on, Pat, come on, Buzz. There we go, yes, a lovely clear round in a time of 42.948. which will put them into the lead. Right, next under starters orders we have Elaine Bostock running Vimes, at least I'm guessing how that is pronounced, who's a 5-year-old crossbreed from Many Tears Rescue. His Kennel Club registered name is Commander Vimes, so I'm guessing that's probably indicative of his personality. Turning nicely over the around that jump wing to get up to the A-frame. And you can see that where some of the larger dogs struggled when they turned around that wing, the medium dogs aren't having so much issues because their shorter stride doesn't put them so far out of line. So nicely into the tunnel there, coming back down this nice stretch across the long jump and into the other tunnel. Looked like he was having a bit of a right of reply there. So just 2 to go now. Come on, Vimes. Yes, so there we go. A clear round in a 44.259. Next to run is Becky Gibson with Jacob, who is a 3-year-old crossbreed. And Becky's comments is that Jacob loves his agility and he's very enthusiastic, but at home he loves nothing more than to snuggle with his mum. So looking at him, I'm guessing he's probably a Cocker Spaniel cross something, but just picking up 5 faults there for the dropped pole before the A-frame. Lovely front cross there. Oh dear, no, just heading off into the wrong end of the tunnel. But he's carrying on as you would expect, as if nothing's gone wrong. Oh, and just picked up a pole there as well. But just 2 to go now. So that's a time of 40.352 for Becky Gibson and Jacob. Yes, I think that's a sign of how hard Jacob hit that pole that it actually shattered the jump cup. But next, under starters orders, we have Amy Curtin running Kefira, who's a miniature American Shepherd and is 23 months old. And interesting information on this dog is that sister Pixie is in the small Novice Cup as well. So a nice start up the first 1 to 4 jumps there. Now down back to the seesaw. Nice solid contact and turning right over the wing there. Picking up a nice weave entry there. Oh, but just coming out part way through the weave, so picking up a 5 faults there. This time the handler taking it from the other side. Perhaps better for the dog's confidence to not let it fail again. But picked up the tunnel nicely there and now coming back down. Oh, but just like the look of that Kennel Club jump rather than the dog walk. So picking up an elimination there. So Amy rightly took the dog back and sent it into the tunnel to recorrect it and have it pick up the right line this time. Nice blind switch there before 18. Just 2 to go. Well done, Amy and Kefira. Right, next to run is Sam Clark with Doc, who is a 3-year-old working cocker. Apparently this is Doc's first final, and it was actually his first day doing full courses yesterday, as Sam had spent the year building his confidence. And there we go. The confidence building has obviously worked as he shot confidently straight into the tunnel there. But Sam pulling him nicely around that jump wing. Lovely weave entry there, and Sam able to do a blind switch at the end of the weaving poles. And picking up a lovely line straight into the tunnel there. Now I'm guessing we'll get a lovely running contact here. Yes, and into the far end of the tunnel. So Doc is one of Sam Lane's demonic working Cocker Spaniels. So they're having a great weekend here. And there we go. So that was a lovely run for Sam and Doc. Next to run is Millie Roberts with Lark, who is a 3-year-old working cocker. And again, Millie is too modest, so she's put no interesting information. I believe they've had a fantastic year. Well, Millie, with this dog and her other dog, has had a very good year competing internationally as well as on the UK. Lovely start there, up to the seesaw. And Millie bringing him right around the jump wing to give a better line onto the A-frame. Nice straight up to the weaving poles. And again, a nice blind switch at the end of the... oh, and shot into the wrong end of the tunnel there. That must be a spaniel thing where they get so confident that they know that actually that tunnel is just drawing them in. So here we go now, up and along the dog walk. Into that far end of the tunnel and down just about 5 obstacles to go now. So just jumps left now for Lark. Time for a quick pirouette before we do over 18. Finishing now in a time of 47.048. Right, next to run is Charlotte Gardner with Seren, who is a Collie Cross working cocker and is 2 years of age. It's their first season competing and they're having lots of fun. Thank you to Dina Freeman and Lorna Peachy for their training, and a massive thank you to Maria Johnson at Active Balance for keeping Seren in tip-top shape. So the little Seren had to push quite hard on the seesaw to get that to tip then. Nicely through the poles and over the Kennel Club jump. Coming back around and doing another little pirouette. And yes, that Kennel Club jump is obviously just too appealing. But now up and over the dog walk. Now back into that far end of the tunnel. So just 3 to go now. Turning nice and tightly around, jump at 18. And finishing there. Well done, Seren and Charlotte Gardner. Right, next to run is Andy Sandercock with Six, a 3-year-old Pyrenean sheepdog. Six apparently came over from France, and as I know that Andy and Angela had a dog called 10, I'm guessing that this dog being called Six has probably got something to do with it being their 6th dog into the house or something. So Andy taking the tighter line there with 6 around the that jump, and just picking up 5 there for missing the A-frame contact on the down. Now up and over the dog walk. Into the far end of the tunnel. Andy having the great advantage of a nice long pair of legs to be able to race the dog and keep the enthusiasm up. Beautiful tight turnaround there down there at the wing at 18. Yeah. And finishing in a time of 38.951. Right, next under starters orders we have Sam Davies and Trim, a 2-year-old Border Collie. Trim being very good and concentrating fully whilst lying there on the start line for Sam to be ready, and releasing beautifully up there, and Sam just managing to avoid a tunnel elimination at that point, and pulling again around the right wing, getting that nice straight line onto the A-frame. Taking the time to straighten her up onto the weaves. Lovely line there into the tunnel. Now back along to the dog walk. So Sam will be playing it nice and safe at this point, just wanting to get a clear round. So just jumps to go now. Come on, Sam, come on, Trim, just 2 to go. Last jump, there we go. So clear in a time of 40.168. And that takes Sam and Trim into the lead. Right, so next to run we have Emma Gamble with Mo, who is a 2-year-old Cocker Cross. It's their first season competing, and Emma describes Mo as this crazy little Merle, and they're having so much fun. And Emma says, owning a dog like Mo is not for the faint-hearted, as those who know her will understand. Thanks to everyone who's been involved in her training to get this far. Must admit, I have watched these two on the circuit, and they're always very exciting to watch. Come on, just 3 to go, 2 to go now. Beautiful. Wow, so that's a great time of 36.278 for Emma and Mo. And that takes them into the lead.
Okay, last one, James, number 15.
Right, so the last medium dog we have is a 2-year-old crossbreed called Rogue and handler James Brown. This is another combination that I've been watching closely, as always very exciting to watch. So apparently they only started competing in April this year. And picked up 5 faults there, just unfortunately leaping off before the down contact on the A-frame. James sending Rogue into the tunnel. Lovely running contact across the ring into that other tunnel. So just 2 to go now. There we go. And that is a clear in 36. Oh, sorry, no, they had 5 faults. Sorry, I take that back. 36.316.